And we are breaking into programming once again to bring more coverage of the demonstrations in downtown Buffalo this evening. We're joined live on the phone now by Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown. Good evening, Mayor Brown.
Good evening, Pete.
What can you tell us about the situation right now in Buffalo? We saw a lot of live images just a few moments ago of the demonstrators moving up Niagara Street, but what is the latest?
Well, what started as a peaceful protest that was peaceful for a long time has now begun to take a turn. Protesters that we believe, according to police, are outside agitators, pulled a driver out of a vehicle and beat that individual. That individual sustained some injuries. Protesters at one point turned their attention to Buffalo police, Erie County sheriffs, and federal law enforcement at the federal courthouse and began pelting those officers with rocks and bottles. The officers were incredibly professional in the face of that. The protesters have left Niagara Square and are heading down Niagara Street. They are going to be asked to disperse. There still are about 500 or so people at this point that have moved down Niagara Street toward Maryland.
Is there any consideration at this point into putting a curfew in place to help that dispersal of the crowd?
Yes, we're not gonna put a curfew in place, but we're absolutely going to ask the crowd to disperse. We believe that among the crowd now are outside agitators that want to spark violence, people who are not from the Buffalo or Erie County community, and we are not going to allow that to occur.
Now, talk about the planning of the police response to this. I would imagine there was quite a bit of coordination.
Our police are very well trained. There was quite a bit of coordination between federal, state, Buffalo police, and local law enforcement agencies. A lot of communication with federal law enforcement, the New York State Police, the Erie County Sheriff's Department, and the Buffalo Police, and other local law enforcement agencies, and certainly want to thank all of the law enforcement agencies at every level for their planning, for their coordination, and their support in keeping this protest, for the most part, peaceful. And I want to give the majority of the protesters credit for staying peaceful themselves. Again, there were outside agitators that tried to spark things during the course of the protest, and local residents that wanted to peacefully protest and express their outrage for what happened in Minneapolis did not bite on what the outside agitators and antagonists were trying to do.
At the core of the demonstration, and as you mentioned, the majority of the demonstrators and protesters is an issue that's very impassioned, not only here in Buffalo, not in Minneapolis, but across the country. Do you see any further rhetoric and dialogue going on and changes being made here in Buffalo as a result of the outrage that's been sparked across the country?
There will be a lot of dialogue here in Buffalo. We want to hear from the community. We know that there is a lot of pain in this community, as there is across the country. What happened with George Floyd in Minneapolis, his senseless murder on camera with officers wearing body cameras and citizens recording on cell phone camera has really shaken many people in the community, has really made them say that violence, prejudice, discrimination, racism that we're seeing that has, in many instances, put black men and black residents and residents of color under siege has to stop. So there's going to be a lot of conversation in this community. We are always looking in the city of Buffalo with our law enforcement partners, with the Buffalo Police, to continuously improve our relationship with the community, to have excellent community police relations, and that requires constant work, constant communication, and we will be engaging in that very difficult work and those very difficult conversations to look at ways that we can improve what we're doing here and hopefully be a model for other parts of the country.
Absolutely. And we did see a couple of windows smashed at the Statler, Mayor. Are there any reports of damage in other parts of the city, looting like we've seen in some other cities? Are there any reports of escalation anywhere else?
There is a report of looting in Amherst at University Plaza. That hasn't been confirmed to me yet, but I did get a text from the police department indicating that was occurring. I think that is one area. Again, there are outside agitators that are trying to spark this kind of activity. We've seen outside agitators in other cities, other communities across the country that have successfully sparked violence, and law enforcement is saying that the same thing is being attempted here in this community.
And the incident at University Plaza, does it appear, was there a gathering there, or is it appear to be isolated to a few people?
I don't know the answer to that at this time. I've been getting updates during the course of the protests from law enforcement, and received the text saying that there was some vandalism to University Plaza right before I came on the air with you. So have not had the opportunity to get more information about that.
All right. Well, Mayor Brown, we appreciate your time this evening. And if things continue to escalate or if we need to get another update, we will be in touch this evening.
Buffalo Police will be working hard with other law enforcement to try to prevent things from escalating.
And what message do you have for Buffalonians this evening as they're watching this and really wondering what's going on in their community?
My message to Buffalonians is that our police department and other law enforcement will be working to keep them safe, to keep the community safe, and to not allow outside agitators, people from outside our community, not legitimate protesters, not real members of our community who are concerned about what happened to George Floyd, from sparking violence in the city of Buffalo and in Erie County.
All right. Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, thank you very much for joining us this evening. And with any luck, we will not need another update. And Buffalo Police are successful in dispersing this crowd.
All
right. Thank you. Once again, we've been watching live coverage of some breaking news, demonstrations in downtown Buffalo that have seen some escalation. Mayor Brown just talking about an incident at University Plaza where there's apparently been some sort of disturbance and some sort of damage done there. We're not sure if it's specifically looting or just a sense of vandalism. The Buffalo police are still investigating that, but we will, of course, keep you up to date throughout the evening here on air as well as online at WGRZ.com. You can join us again right here on Channel 2 at 11 o'clock for Channel 2 News Tonight.